Hey Radiant Souls, welcome back. My name's Heather Mays. I'm an animal communicator, energy healer for pets and people, author and artist, and I'm on a mission to empower and embolden others to connect with their divine radiant light. One of the ways I like to do that is with a monthly energy forecast. So this is your forecast for April 2022. That being said, if you are coming to this video after April 2022, trust that there is still something here for you. There's obviously something you're resonant with, so there might be some messages here for you that apply or feel like a good fit outside of April 2022. The other thing I want to mention is there are several individuals like myself who do energy forecasts like this, and I may pull something through that they don't, and they may pull something through that I don't. In the world of energy and frequency, there is not right versus wrong. There's not a duality. So we all can be right. We all come with our own perspectives, our own experiences, and that colors what we provide and what we share. And we all bring pieces of the puzzle to complete the whole picture. So just keep that in mind as you watch some other content creators. With the energy forecast, there are a few different components, and I like to kind of lay those out up front so we know where we're going. The first is that there is generally a theme or sometimes a word or a concept that helps define and color in more information about the particular month. And let me say too that the information I'm sharing with you is what I have channeled from my guides. So I work with a team of beings. Some are spirit guides, some are of the angelic realm, some are multidimensional. So if that's not your thing, this isn't the video for you, but if it is, I hope you'll stay tuned as we go through it. So we have a concept that they give that really expands on what kind of energy is going to be prevalent in the collective and prevalent for those of us individuals who feel connected to this information. Then there is an animal totem that steps forward to, again, kind of paint a picture. This kind of animal relates to this kind of energy this way, and if we reflect on that or meditate on that, it helps us travel through the month energetically as well, just knowing and pulling lessons from that particular animal. There's also an element of the natural world that I'm shown to share with you that the same thing applies. It helps give a little more color, a little more information. And then there is either an affirmation or sometimes an exercise, sometimes both, that we can take with us through the month to help us, again, navigate, help shore up our defenses against whatever energy might be incoming for us in the month, and just really empower us to walk through the month confidently and deal with the energetic waves that are going to be coming our way. And then I have also, for each month, I channel an intuitive frequency art piece. And those pieces are available for you for free for the month that they apply. There's information in the links below. And that art helps calibrate you to weather the storm of whatever energy is coming through for that month. So by looking at it, it transfers frequencies and helps you calibrate yourself energetically to the energies of that month. So you can check those out below. I have been doing these since January 2022, so I'm going to put a link also for that playlist. If you want to go back and look at January, February, and March to catch up to where we are in April, you're more than welcome to do that. So, housekeeping notes done, dusted. Let's move into April. I had some challenges pulling this through for all of us this month because let me tell you that straight up front, me to you, for some of us, it's going to be a bit of a challenging month. It feels like a month that we're being called to task, to show up, roll up our sleeves, do some personal work that then serves the collective in a pretty impactful way. So the word or concept that I was shown for April is reverberation. So if you think of, going to an outdoor concert and the performers do that little thing in the mic, check one, check two. They're testing the audio, but they're also checking in with the reverberation. So how does it echo out into the environment. And reverberation is that bouncing back and forth of something. So a lot of us are going to be encountering things, lessons, situations, relationships that come back around for us that maybe we haven't cleared. And what I mean by that is they're still sticky for us. They're tacky. They're things that kind of get under our skin, or we just don't deal with them well, or there's a lesson that we need to learn that we haven't quite gotten from that particular combination of energies or people or relationships or circumstances, events, whatever it is. Those things typically, this isn't unique to April, but it's going to be really prevalent and concentrated in April. That's how we work. That's how we are here in the third dimensional world as humans. We're here to learn. This is Earth School. We're here to take on these lessons, and sometimes, no blame, no judgment, but sometimes we think we can kind of skip grades, so to speak, if you're thinking of a traditional school, and that we don't really need to learn the lessons that are coming our way. We'll fast forward, we'll forget about them, we won't really take to heart the messages and lessons that we need. So when that happens, those suckers come right back around in a different form. I like to think of it as like a funhouse mirror. It may look one way in your 20s, and then you get to your 40s. If you didn't learn it here, it might come back, but it looks a little different. It's a little quirkier. There's some other elements or some other twists to it, but it's still the same lesson. So in April, those things are going to be coming out of the woodwork for us at an individual level, but also in the collective. There are going to be larger themes at play that, and we've seen this for a while now, but again, in April, it just feels like they're going to go fast, 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 fast and come in front of us. So part of the message is when you see that happening in the collective, go within. Did something you see out there trigger something within you where you think, oh, that feels like a little bit of a problem that I might want to work on with myself? Or maybe you keep attracting the same kind of partner and they don't really value or honor you, or the same kind of circumstance, maybe in a work-based relationship where you feel like you get taken advantage of. Or maybe it's just something that is a fear that keeps coming up for you and you can't quite move past it. This is the month to dig in and do the work. So maybe you journal about it, you meditate about it, you hire a counselor to work with you, you do some energy healing, whatever works for you. This is the time to lay all those cards out on the table for those lessons and really clear that energy, because when you clear it for yourself, you're also clearing it for the collective. As above, so below. There is this non-local relationship, this entanglement of energy. So everything that we see and we encounter in our own lives, there are aspects of it that affect everything and everyone around us. So it's really important, to the extent that you can, to clear that when it comes up. So the guides were also kind of taking me down a path of physics, and we're gonna get a little bit goodwill hunting here for a minute, but don't be afraid. It's not scary math. It's pretty easy. Two things they wanted to highlight. One is reverberation time. So what that means is the shorter something goes out from you, if we're thinking of sound, the smaller room you're in, it bounces back faster because it has a shorter cycle. So for those lessons that keep coming and coming and coming, those we're kind of aware of. We see that in our daily lives. Like I said before about, maybe you're attracting the same kind of partner over and over, or circumstances in your work relationships that keep coming up for you. Those lessons, I'm hearing, we're really familiar with because they come back at a shorter interval. But the ones that we may see more of in April are those that we kind of have shoved under the rug months, years ago, and they just come back up. Hi. And it's like they've almost been on an orbit and they've gone behind the proverbial dark side of the moon for a while. We thought We thought we didn't need to deal with them because we haven't had to in a while, but they're coming back, and they're coming back for you to have an opportunity. This is good news. It sounds like a lot of work, and I'm not saying it won't be, but they're coming back for you to honor and clear. And it's almost better that they come back now because you're a better version of yourself than you were when they may have first appeared. So think about that reverberation time when things are showing up in your environment in April, either at the personal level for you, it may be people around you as well, but also at the collective. Are these themes, are these patterns that we haven't seen in a while? And what can we do now that we couldn't do the first time we saw them or the last time we saw them? What are we empowered to do now? And, part of that is that there are more of us waking up and becoming aware, and we've got better tools in our toolbox to solve things. So that doesn't mean they just automatically fade away. We still have to do the work of clearing them energetically and removing all of the stickiness and tackiness. So the next piece of my Goodwill Hunting physics lesson is something called absorption coefficient. Right? That's a little nerdy and geeky. But the absorption coefficient is something that the guides want us to think about. And what it really means is just the proportion of sound that is being absorbed. So if you think of a tiny room, just picture a room and it has no furniture in it whatsoever, and it has all concrete walls. You make a sound in there. The sound is going to bounce off those concrete walls because there's nothing to absorb it. If you picture the same room, but now it has a bright, big, open window, you make a sound, it's going to travel out the window. It's going to dissipate. It's not going to bounce as much off the walls. So neither of those is bad in the way that we're applying reverberation to energy in April. But we want to be aware and conscious of when those lessons come up for us. What is our personal absorption coefficient? Are we being the concrete room where that lesson or that energy or that emotion or those thoughts, are they just bouncing around within us because we're kind of all closed off about it, or we don't want to see it, la, 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 we don't want to hear about it, we don't want to see it. So it just keeps bouncing around and it keeps echoing and it keeps coming back and it keeps reverberating. Or can we rise up to the task of being that bright open window? And that doesn't mean you turn a blind eye to it. That means you look at it clearly and you see the situation or the energy or the emotion or the thoughts for what they are, how they impact your life, and what that lesson is for you within them. And once you do that, they don't need to bounce around anymore because you got it. You got the lesson. Be that open window and let that move out and dissipate. And as you do that for your own personal things, your own issues, your own challenges, you're healing that same energetic pattern, that frequency, that vibration in the collective. So it's really a great, important, and empowering and honorable task for each of us. That doesn't mean that it's fun. That doesn't mean that it's easy, but it's ours to do. It's what we're here to do. So that is what we're tasked with in April. That's what we're going to be seeing, many of us on the horizon, coming in for us throughout the month of April. So the animal totem that wanted to step forward to kind of help cement the lesson or paint a different picture of it for us is a spider. And I know a lot of us are like, not so fond of the spiders. I think they're cool, but it's not here to frighten you and intimidate you. The lesson with the spider is about vibration and frequency, and really parallel to that absorption coefficient that I was talking about. So a spider on a web, science has proven that many species, the silk strands and the vibration that can travel through that is so much wider. There's a broader band, say that 5 times fast, a broader band of frequencies that can transmit through spider silk than a lot of other natural fabrics. And I think I read that it was some species can detect motion on a substance that is 1/1000th the width of a human hair. So really, wow, really narrow, small space where they can sense vibration. So when a spider is on her web, she moves around and they have all the eyes, but they don't really have great eyesight. They're sensing their web vibrationally. So she will move around on the web and know that if a certain pulse, a certain frequency reverberates back to her in a certain way, if it maybe comes right back, then she knows there's something caught in her web because the frequency didn't travel out far. It came right back to her. If it dissipates, she knows there's a hole in her web. So how can we play with that imagery and take that lesson on board for how we interact with those lessons that are reverberating and coming back for us? The natural element that wanted to come through to kind of shine another light on this is if you picture a still lake dropping a rock in the middle of the lake. You're going to have those ripples come out from that. Just think of that as frequency. And they're going to come out and come out and come out. If they hit another object in the lake or the side of the shore, then there's an interference pattern that is now coming back. So you have your original ripple, it hits something, and now there's an interference pattern coming back. So that's impacting that reverberation. What in our lives is out there in our personal lake, our nice calm lake, when something drops in and makes a splash with us and we feel those waves? What is it that we are blocking and not letting that pass through, like that open window? So I thought those were kind of neat images to keep in mind as we go through these challenges of this reverberation, this echoing of things coming back for us. And if we look at the energetic frequency art, you see there's a lot of cycling and reverberation in that as well. And then the exercise that I was guided to share with you is to reflect on the infinity symbol. So, the number 8 on its side. And just as you encounter these challenges, these echoes, these reverberations, to breathe through them and let that infinity symbol, we're going to do it in a very timed fashion, but breathe through it, imagining the infinity symbol, and allow yourself here in this dimension to connect to your higher self for the wisdom to help you learn that lesson. So if you picture an infinity symbol, the guidance for this breathing exercise is to breathe in as you go it's going to look backwards on camera, but as you go to the left, breathe in 2, 3, 4 until you come back to the center of the 8, and then trace it on the other side, 2, 3, 4, exhaling, and come back. So it's a rhythmic inhale for one side as you trace the infinity symbol, pausing in the middle when all of it comes together, and then exhaling for the other side, and just repeat that for yourself 4 or 5 times and get in that zone of connection with you. So, good luck in April. I know everybody can do it. These were some great tools. You are all amazing, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a most amazing day. Weather the storms in April, surf those waves energetically, and, handle those reverberations as the best and brightest version of yourself, and you'll be just fine. I'll see you next time.